Okay, we're continuing with quotes from the Holy Grail of Wisdom, quotes by me, Pete Rogers, alphabetical order. Today we're doing Jonathan Winters, Ludwig Wittgenstein. Actually, I had one quote by Ellen Winters. Ellen Winters is a lady who teaches gifted children. She said, gifted creators, they're workaholics. And I think that's an important point. I've known some really gifted creative people. They're major workaholics, okay? Now I'm going to do briefly Jonathan Winters. He's a comedian, and he was a United States Marine. He was kind of a heroic, good guy. He said, God is in my head, but the devil is in my pants. He says, if your ship doesn't come in, then sometimes you got to swim out to it. He said, you don't have to be filthy to be funny. He says, now the freaks are on television. The freaks are in the movies, and it's no longer the sideshow. It's the whole show. The colorful circus, the clowns, and the elephants, for all intents and purposes, they are gone, and we are dealing only with the freaks. And I think there's some truth in that. You know, if you look at an old Walt Disney movie from the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, it'll be beautiful. Then you look at anything from Walt Disney now, it's just evil and disgusting and vile. I haven't gone to a movie in about 30 years because they all stink. Hollywood is just evil and vile. It's like satanic. So anyways, now we'll briefly do Ludwig Wittgenstein. So Ludwig Wittgenstein, he was this Austrian-British homosexual philosopher, and he came from a family with a lot of craziness. 3 out of his 4 brothers committed suicide, even though the family was super wealthy. And, you know, there's a lot of weird things about him. I'm also going to just give you a heads up. Whenever you hear that somebody was famous between the post-World War I era, let's say between, 1918 and 1950, at least 90% of the time, that person is a scumbag. And I tell you this because the young students in high school and college are exposed to all these scumbags, and they don't really know the truth. And so I'm just giving you the heads up. Whenever you hear somebody comes from 1918 to 1950, you should think, in terms of cultural stuff, or even 1955, you should think they are a scumbag until proven otherwise. I warn you that so that you won't be tricked into nonsense like James Joyce. Some people tell you, oh, he was a great Irish novelist. No, he wasn't. He was a piece of crap. He was an alcoholic who would get into bar fights, okay? Scott Fitzgerald did write some nice sentences in The Great Gatsby, but he's another stupid alcoholic. I liked Hemingway because his style was concise, and he was a Catholic, but he wouldn't admit too publicly he was a Catholic because he's embarrassed of being an alcoholic and a womanizer. But Hemingway at least was heroic and he had guts, okay? But he really didn't have much to say. I don't care about a bullfight. I don't care about, he just would do stupid macho stuff. He didn't really have much point in his books. None of them did. Virginia Woolf was this crazy lesbian who just kept on trying to commit suicide until she finally did. These are not people you want to study. They are not people worth your time. They're a waste of time. They really had very little talent, and they have nothing useful to say. Somebody who wants to spend their whole life trying to commit suicide is a crazy screw-up. They're not a role model for students. Okay, but the scumbag left that's taken over the high school and the university system always pushes these people on to the students. And I'm telling you, 1918 to 1955, most of the academic, literary, all these people, they're a bunch of scumbags, okay? And it's good to know that so you're not deceived. Okay, so now listen to this Wittgen guy say. They go, oh, he was a genius philosopher. No, he wasn't. He was sick in the head. This guy's a weirdo, okay? He's a homosexual, and why does this genius, wealthy homosexual want to teach? He's teaching at a grade school, young children, and he's beating the shit out of them, okay? He got in big trouble where he smacked this 11-year-old boy in the head several times, and the kid fell to the ground unconscious. Okay, what is that? He was arrested by the police, and he went to trial. His rich family paid to get him let off the hook. But it just shows you how sick he was in the head. He would grab the little schoolgirls. We're talking about 10, 11-year-old little girls. And he would yank them by their hair and yank them by their ears. And he was doing that to lots of the boys. Many of the parents were very upset about it. I mean, this guy has no business teaching. What's this, homosexual man doing in a grade school, grabbing and hitting little boys and girls? He's crazy, okay? He was sick in the head. He later went back, decades later, to apologize to the family of these children that he had abused. He's sick in the head. This is some type of, this guy is some genius? No, he's a crazy sicko, all right? And he's friends with Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell's an asshole. When you read about Bertrand Russell, he reminds me of David Hume, another atheist. Like, his atheism has more to help society than Christianity. It's like, give me a frickin' break. And here's just things Wittgenstein would write like in his letters to Bertrand Russell or at other times what he thought of people. He said, he just had contempt for common people. He said, here I am at the village of Trottenbach, surrounded by this odiousness, this baseness. I know that human beings on average aren't worth much anywhere, but they are much more good for nothing and irresponsible here than elsewhere. And at another school he said, these people are not even human, they're just worms. Okay, so what kind of a attitude is that for somebody to teach, you know? It's crazy. Okay, now a couple quotes by Wittgenstein. To believe in God means to see that life has meaning. Words enable us to make pictures into facts, or to make facts into pictures. The limits of my language are the limits of my world. A serious and good philosophical work could be written consisting entirely of jokes. A philosopher who is not taking part in discussions is like a boxer who never gets into the ring. To convince someone of the truth, it is not enough just to say it. Rather, one must show the path from error to truth. I kind of paraphrase that one a little bit to make it more understandable. We learn by rearranging what we know. The philosopher is not a citizen of any community of ideas. That is what makes him a philosopher. A good guide will take you through the important streets more often than he takes you down side streets. A bad guide will do the opposite. In philosophy, I'm a rather bad guide. Philosophy is the battle against the bewitchment of our intelligence by means of language. The philosopher's treatment of a question is like the treatment of an illness. What is your aim in philosophy? It is to show the fly the way out of the bottle. Okay, so he's got a couple cute, clever little quotes, but there's no genius there. There's no transformation of any field or anything. This guy was a sick bastard beating the crap out of poor little helpless school children. He's a scumbag. I don't respect him. I don't like him. I'm just telling you, the more I read about him, he's like an evil piece of crap. All right, well, anyways, that's our quotes for today. Hope you found it interesting.